So you want to write, and you're an adult survivor of childhood sexual abuse. So you feel this impulse, this ache, this desire to write. And at the same time, that very same ache and desire and impulse and even need is met with the resistance of your mind being like, hold up, what do you mean we're gonna try and express ourselves? I don't know what may come out of this. So then your body begins to process that, and you end up not writing. You end up sitting on the sidelines of your body of words, and you stay with the what ifs, and you stay simmering in that desire and also some of that shame, and it becomes a loop. I want to address that and some of the reasons why that happens to us. I want to start off by saying that writing is a somatic practice, full stop. Any art that you make is a somatic practice, full stop. Soma meaning of the body, soma meaning the body, somatics of the body. And when we're writing, we are tuning into physical sensations and thoughts and expressing them on paper, whether they are cohesive or non cohesive. The point is that you're processing what you're feeling and your thoughts, you're putting them on paper. And oftentimes, I tell people writing isn't your problem. You're writing texts, you're writing emails, you're writing to do lists, you're writing all of these things, and even an email. We all know how many people have edited your email, or how many people have you wrote a collective email with. So, or even a text. But writing isn't the problem. Oftentimes is the listening part. And the thing about writing is that how you engage the body in the process of writing is where I am most interested and where my expertise in particular lies. I have used writing and performance throughout my whole sexual healing journey as self actualization and sexual personal development tools. Um, and that is for a good reason, because writing is a presence practice. And oftentimes, as adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse who, you know, we're, we're either used to talking about, our trauma if you went to talk therapy, or not talking at all, or talking in passing, but not really telling our stories because our voices as it relates to that particular violence shrinks. The volume gets turned down. As opposed to, notice that I didn't say our voices get stolen in any capacity. I am not of that belief. I believe that the voice is taking refuge somewhere in your body, and it is up to us in adulthood to take responsibility for our listening mechanisms and the processes that we put in place to allow us to hear those voices, to allow the body the space, the time, the attention it needs, so that we can dial up that volume little by little until it is fully audible, and we don't have to do too much every time because it's life, right? But that we at least create a new baseline for that voice. Anywho's, right? So writing is a presence practice, and a lot of us have a difficult time being present in our bodies with intention. And writing requires at least the willingness to be present. And that is where I'm going to go into some of the reasons why you're coming up against this natural, organic, inherent impulse to express, to write, to sit at the page. And then your body's like, chill, we can't do that. That feels um like you're intentionally about to hurt yourself. And the number one reason is that you don't trust what your body's about to be out here saying. You don't trust the wisdom of what your body wants to express. And oftentimes we don't trust the wisdom of what our body wants to express because we think about what we want to write about before we sit to the page. So we are already heading with a future goal in mind to write, as opposed to surrendering to the sensation and meeting the sensation in ourselves and whatever is wants to materialize itself in that moment. So we don't trust our body's natural impulse to express itself. And I'm gonna bring it back as to how I use this process and how it has supported me in being present in my sex life, because it all connects and it all comes together, which is why writing and performance and my particular method that I have designed is what I do with folks, so that they're able to be not just present in their lives, but present in their sex lives as well. Because we have a listening process and a listening protocol for ourselves that it's short-circuiting on us to some degree. And then the classic one, we fear that we're gonna write ourselves into a flashback that we're not gonna be able to come back from, which is completely fair. Completely fair. And this is also why when you have the impulse to write, being able to just allow yourself to feel that and to go with it and listen and write down your sensations and your impulse. We think that we're gonna go in and write a story, which sometimes it is. I am part of my writing practice, and some of the ways that oftentimes essays come to me, or moments where everything kind of comes together for a personal essay, is an experience that I'm having in real time, in real life, and then everything's just kind of coming together. And they are events, and they are this, and they are that. However, because I trust that the impulse, I trust because have done this process over and over again, and I've built the trust with my body, and trusting that whatever thoughts and whatever essays are formulating, that it is going to be for my own good, and it's going to be a moment of insight and perspective. I trust whatever comes, and I also have a process that allows me to care for myself even after some writing sessions that may be tougher than others. So the fact that you're gonna write yourself into a flashback and it's a wrap. It's like, how the hell do I come back? We are afraid that we're gonna write ourselves to the past and not come back to the present. And then finally, which is gonna go back to you not trusting your body, and I've touched upon this a bit in some of the other reasons, is that you go in with what you want to write about, or what you think is gonna come up. So you want to write, right? You have the impulse to write, and you think you're gonna write about the abuse. You think that you're gonna write about some fucked up shit, and sometimes it's more than half the time is not that. And we talk ourselves out of the writing. We talk ourselves out of our bodies. We talk ourselves out of the present moment because we jump ahead to the future. We jump ahead to, no, because I'm going to write this, or what if I write that? And the fear also of what is going to be written, and am I like the shame that may come from what can possibly be written. But oftentimes it's not the shame about what's going to come out. It's usually we are already thinking about the shame that we have, or the embarrassment or the humiliation that we have around what we think is going to come up, as opposed to what is coming up. So, like I said, writing is a presence practice. And some of these barriers to actually writing really come down to a couple of things. And it's that you're not anchored in a practice. And because writing is a presence practice, and presence is the difficult thing for a lot of us because we feel disembodied, and being present in our bodies can feel like a physical threat for many reasons, especially we understand our nervous systems and how our brains work. When you have a writing practice that is anchored, and the way that I anchor myself, so I want to give you some suggestions of how you can, in these moments where you want to write, but the fear and your thoughts feel like they're overtaking you and you end up not writing. One of the things that you can start by doing is anchoring your writing practice. And you anchor your writing process by having a opening and a closing. So it could be for some people it can be the making your tea, and maybe taking a sip of your tea can be your opening, and then you write for however long you decide to write, and then your closing is maybe hugging yourself after. That can be a very simple opening and closing, and that you know that anytime that you're going to write, you do that. I'm gonna have my tea, or I'm gonna sing my bell. But when we start providing our body these anchors, these containers to go into the archive of what is the body, then it gives you a sense of safety to know, okay, I'm gonna be here for X amount of time. And also give yourself writing time, whether it's 3 minutes, whether it's 5 minutes. And as you start to build your confidence and build the safety and build the routine, I wouldn't suggest that you go beyond the time that you have told yourself. Once you start getting into a rhythm of something, then you can start playing around with, let me breathe, see if I want to do a little bit more time beyond what my closing is, because then your body, yourself begins to rewire its relationship to writing. And then, so you don't want to really mess with that neural pathway being cemented and being ingrained, and your brain really kind of tuning in, and your new self, who is a writing self, tuning into what is this process. And process. So yeah, that's one of the, I had to kind of read just my notes really quickly. But yeah, that's one of the main things that I do to anchor myself, along with when you're writing, as opposed to, and you're building presence in your body and using writing as a tool for presence and practicing presence. Instead of going in thinking about what you want to write your sensations. Write how your body is communicating. So if it's an image, if it's my pinky hurts, I feel a soft wave over my tit. I smell the coffee. And then maybe write a thought. I'm having a thought about, I'm doing this video right now, and while I'm doing this video right now, my knee is bent and it hurts. Just focus on the sensations. And then give yourself 3 minutes, focus on the sensation. Don't go beyond what your writing time is. have your timer and have your closing and opening rituals. This, I promise you that if you start doing that just small, if you feel the impulse to write, in that moment, allow yourself to just write the sensations. And then, like, and that, if it's the first time that this is happening to you, write the sensations and have a little aftercare for yourself, whether it's, like loving yourself, if it's going on a walk for grounding, your tea, coffee, whatever it is that is going to support you in grounding. And then this is also why, as you continue to understand what makes you feel good and what makes you feel centered, and what does that mean for you, like what does that feel like for you, and how do you know when you're centered and how do you know when you're grounded, it's going to allow you to, at different seasons of writing, at the different, sometimes difficult sessions, you have an array of aftercare tools that can help at different times, because what works one time may not work another time. But always, I implore you to consider having a container, having your opening and having your closing, at least if it's for the first couple of weeks that you are considering using writing as a sexual healing tool for your personal development and for your presence. My name is Betsy Perez, and if you're interested in creating a writing practice or learning my writing process, and to see how that can support you in being more present in your body, and eventually how that allows you to be more present in your life and in your sex life, my link is in the bio. And much love and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of you. Mwah.